ISIS is wrong, but all we see is what media chooses to show us. Are we not committing takfir?
So there's three parts to the question. How do we decide whether ISIS is wrong, and then are we not committing takfir? Well, first of all, takfir is not an easy thing. Takfir means to say that someone is no longer Muslim. And that's something that's done through, what we recommended now with Sheikh Walid Basuni, Sheikh Haytham Haddad, and some others in the West, and even some of the brothers in America, was that these kind of proclamations about whether someone is Muslim or not should come through fiqh councils. Like, they should come through councils of scholars, not one person or two persons, because for you to say someone is not Muslim anymore, Imam Abu Hanifa has a very beautiful statement. Like just now, how, mashallah, this woman became Muslim, right? It's in front of all of us. It's very clear that she's Muslim. So he said, listen to what he said. He said, the way a person leaves Islam is the way they enter Islam. What it means, it's like clear like this. There's no doubt. Imam Ibn Taymiyyah mentioned 5 principles about making takfir. He said one of them is that it should not happen because it's based on like an assumption, maybe this person is not Muslim. No, it has to be al-yaqeen la yazulu bi shak, right? It has to be very clear. The second thing he said is there's no takfir because of issues of ijtihad, like I talked about earlier today, like legitimate differences of scholars. Like because Maher Zain likes music, you don't say he's not Muslim, right? That's a legitimate difference of scholars. Amr Khan is boxing right now. I'm opening up a can of worms here, but like you don't make takfir of him because he's boxing, right? And that's the third principle, that we don't make takfir of someone who falls maybe into the prohibited. Not you, Maher, right? But who falls into the prohibited. We're not Khawarij. As for the issue of ISIS, I don't know anyone that's made takfir of them. As far as I've heard people rebuke what they do. And I think what you have to look at are, of course, there's media propaganda, which will always exist, but then you have their magazine that they put out. You have their own statements, their own fatawi, their own positions on issues. The khutbah of their leader is online. That's where you should look at and see what they're talking about. And the actions that have happened there, killing people, killing Muslims, slaughtering people. What happened to qatl Muslim kufr? Killing a Muslim is a form of disbelief, right? In action, not saying they're kuffar. So, I don't buy that. I wish people would give, the 11 reasons why to avoid me as much doubt as they do these kind of groups. Right? Or the things that are said about Sheikh Yasir Qadi. Why don't they practice the same type of ethics with Yasir Qadi that they do with ISIS? Why don't they practice the same type of ethics with, say, Sheikh Hamza Yusuf that they would with Anwar Allah? It shows you that there is a slant here that's not healthy. So, I would say read their magazine, Dabat, read the things that they say in Arabic, becomes very clear. And then look at the majority of scholars' reactions, not scholars for dollars. Independent scholars who are free, scholars like, I know Sheikh Yasir Qadi, his income is on his own. My income is on my own. Nu'man Ali Khan, his income is on his own. Ingrid Madison, they're not being paid by anybody, wallahi. And then, who's attacking who the most? Like, you can say that you love the ummah, but every time today on Twitter, someone sent me a picture of 2 people having sex in the nude who said he was an ISIS supporter. Like, do you and I do that? So then who is it that, is causing harm to the Muslims? Who is it that's hurting the Muslims? So that would be my response to that. And then you have some great scholarly responses to them as well. Some of them have been translated. Sheikh Walid Basuni actually did a whole series on answering the pseudo-jihadists, which is brilliant, and I've encouraged him actually to publish it. Hopefully you will, inshallah.